Live and recording. You can begin whenever you wish.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Welcome everyone to our regular council meeting for November 4th. Before we begin, just to remind everybody in the chambers that the meeting is going to be live streamed and available on the Township's YouTube channel. So just be aware that it's being recorded. Council, as is always the case, please raise your hand if you wish to speak on a matter, and I'll call on you when it's time to speak. And also please remember to turn your microphone on so people watching online can hear you clearly. We'll get started with calling the roll. We've got Deputy Mayor Nelson, Councillor Landsman, Councillor Watt, Councillor Johnston, and of course myself, Heather Watson. And a number of staff are joining us on the bench today who will be called on at the appropriate time in the meeting. So with the quorum of council in attendance, I will call the meeting to order, beginning with the land acknowledgement. We respectfully acknowledge that we are on the lands which are part of the 1818 Treaty 20 and the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe bands of the Great Ojibwe Nation. We offer our gratitude to the Ojibwe for their care and knowledge of the lands on which we work, live, and enjoy. May we honor and respect their teaching and our treaty obligations as we grow together. And we'll just pause for a moment of silent reflection. Okay, moving along. Council, the agenda, of course, was distributed last week and you've all had an opportunity to review it. We do have a disclosure of pecuniary interest that's been made. Councillor Johnston, do you want to just speak to that?
The chair, yes. 10.1 is about the grant, community grant, and the Lions are requesting that the taxes be waived for another year, for the year gone by this year. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And you've submitted the necessary paperwork for that to the clerk. Are there any other disclosures of pecuniary interest? Seeing nothing, we'll just look for an adoption of the agenda. Councillor Johnston, seconded by Councillor Watt, all in favor, and that motion carries. Thank you. We have 3 sets of minutes on the agenda for adoption. Just looking for a motion to receive and approve those. Deputy Mayor Nelson, Councillor Landsman, any discussion? All in favor, and that motion carries. There are a number of items, 6 to be exact, on our consent agenda. Is there anything on consent that council would like to hold to discuss later on in the meeting? And seeing nothing, we'll just look for a motion to receive those items on consent. Councillor Johnston, seconded by Councillor Landsman, all in favor, and that motion carries. Thank you. On to delegations, petitions, presentations, and public meetings, and we have a couple lined up today, starting with a delegation from Richard Taylor and Wayne Edwards regarding the maintenance of Demers Road. Mr. Taylor, Mr. Edwards, the lectern's yours. And it's 10 minutes for your delegation.
Thank you. Appreciate this opportunity to speak to Mayor and members of council. This is a supplement to a presentation I made back in April of this year. As noted in a companion report under 10.4, Demers Road Report, the prescription at that time was that your staff meet with me and my client, Mr. Edwards, associated with the status of Demers Road and issues associated with that status and maintenance of that roadway. In July of this year, we met by Zoom with members of your staff. We have advanced throughout the entire process that a collaborative approach would be the best means of addressing issues associated with Demers Road. To provide you with some background context and a reminder, there has been an admission in writing by your municipal staff that Demers Road is in fact a municipal road. It is not maintained presently by the municipality, notwithstanding that acknowledgement. In addition to that, there has been a defined municipal road allowance shown on many surveys done by certified Ontario land surveyors, depicting and showing Demers Road as a roadway. So you have, in essence, a history associated with Demers Road. And as a component of our review for severance proposals to create lots along Demers Road on behalf of my clients, it was a suggestion made by the county and county staff, actually, that we approach the township to review the status of Demers Road and discuss with you aspects associated with its maintenance. Now, the approach at collaboration and cooperation has produced the Demers Road report at item 10.4. It's a disappointing report in many aspects. It does not represent, in my view, real and genuine collaboration involving either me or my client. It does not represent real and genuine cooperation within the context of addressing the issues. What you effectively have in your Demers Road report is a staff commentary that effectively says, nope, we're not going to do anything. And it's the municipal mantra of nope, not on planet Earth, that seems to be quite typical from the standpoint of just rejecting the proposals and considerations that we have advanced associated with Demers Road. Now, at the last session, I pointed out that you have some significant issues dealing with Demers Road. You have risk management issues, you have liability issues, you have insurance issues, and then you have issues associated with my client's application, which could ultimately end up before the Ontario Land Tribunal. In essence, your staff report has advanced a recommendation that invites the question, what do you do now? What do you do now? Your recommendation, if it's adopted and reflected in this report, will do nothing. It will not address your risk management issues. It will not address the safety issues. It will not address the liability issues. And those are significant concerns if you're a ratepayer. In addition, your particular report seems to be focused almost solely and exclusively upon financial considerations. That's valid. I think that's a valid consideration. But those financial considerations also have to take into account risk management, insurance, liability, and ongoing future costs, whether it be an OLT process, or whether it be a court case, or whether it be other aspects associated with dealing with Demers Road. I'm quoting from page 4 or 5 of the report. The cost to assume the road, upgrade it to municipal and emergency service standards, and then annually to maintain the road to the required standard have the potential to be substantial. There's nothing in the report to quantify that particular financial comment. Nothing. We didn't get to that particular point in terms of the discussions. We got the approach that was not genuine. It was certainly dismissive from the standpoint of our concerns. And that's fine. I spent a third of my career as a public servant in various municipalities. And I understand that particular approach. And I understand that you're looking at the bottom line and ongoing costs. But no one can justify this report as undertaking a comprehensive analysis that looks at all of the financial implications. You don't even look at the financial revenues. You didn't want to look at the financial revenues. You don't want to look at the potential benefits. My client's going to create 2 more lots. You've got 7 existing property owners there now. As indicated back in April, this is an area of settlement. It's not a settlement area, but it's an area of settlement. It's very, very similar to Tyndall Bay Road in the township of Selwyn, which is a big financial benefit. And I'll be quite candid. Yes, you have the potential for additional property owners to come forth and create more lots on Demers Road as an area of settlement. You don't even want to look at the financial benefits. You don't. Your staff doesn't want to. They want to engage in a short-sighted approach within the context of addressing this particular matter. You're sticking your heads in the sand. You've got to address these issues. If Richard Taylor goes along Demers Road and I sustain injury or death, it's not just going to be a claim arising from that injury and death. It's going to be a Family Law Act claim. Everybody in the family, pursuant to the Family Law Act, is going to advance a claim. And given the history of this particular property, you may not have insurance cover. You may not. So it's significant and substantial in terms of risk management and risk assessment. Now, one of the aspects of your Demers Road report looks at the 1999 agreement involving Wayne Edwards. An agreement that was executed by my client because it was effectively told by the CAO, unless you sign the agreement, you're not going to get a building permit. Sound a little bit like duress to you? Now, there's aspects of that agreement that your staff don't even want to look at. I'm going to read one paragraph, just one. There's a whole bunch of things associated with what transpired back in the 1990s and even the 1980s. Here's the first paragraph of that agreement. I'm going to quote it. The owner acknowledges that his property fronts on a constructed roadway, interesting phrase, which is not now maintained as part of the municipal road system. I'm going to repeat that, which is not now maintained as part of the municipal road system. I'm going to read that again, which is not now maintained as part of the municipal road system. That paragraph could have said, which is not maintained as part of the municipal road system. The word now sent a red flag when I read that provision, a red flag that suggests now they're not maintaining it. What happened in the past?
Mr. Taylor, you have 2
Yep.
minutes left in your delegation.
Thank you. So from the standpoint of addressing matters, you can continue to put your heads in the sand. You can continue to accept the consequences of this report, but it's not solving any problems. It's not addressing any problems. It's not feasibly looking at the full financial portrait that needs to be assessed in dealing with this matter. Now, I think 2026 is going to be an interesting year because more and more people are starting to advance the proper questions to this municipal council. And unless you ask the right questions, you're probably not going to get the right answers. And more of your ratepayers are starting to come forward and they're asking the right questions. And they're going to be very, very disturbed at the answers. 2026, going to be your banner year, going to be your defining year. You better add another 0 to your budget line associated with litigation. That's the reality. That's the reality. Because if your staff is going to continue to write these reports that just effectively address the status quo without really rectifying any of the problems, then you're going to face that type of consequence in 2026. So this is not a genuine collaborative process. It's extremely disappointing. It's frustrating, but it's a reflection of a township that doesn't want to address the issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Council, any questions of Mr. Taylor on his delegation? Keeping in mind, we do have the staff report to discuss later on in the agenda as well. Seeing no questions, just a motion to receive the delegation, please. Thank you, Councillor Watt, seconded by Councillor Johnston. All in favor? That motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're moving on to a second delegation from Mr. Leahy, Peter Leahy, on the 2026 budget and tax levies.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for hearing us. My name is Peter Leahy. I came to the last meeting, the budget meeting. You just got told you have your heads in the sand. Well, so do I. For years, I've ignored what's going on in Douro, and it's time that I wake up. At that meeting, there was two ladies spoke. One was April, and I recognized right away her competence. And we've got some talent in this township that we should use. Not a good word, but that's it. So I know we have 10 minutes, so giddy up. The Peter Robinson anniversary was this summer. You all know that. Ray, you were involved. So that celebrated our ancestors that came from Ireland in 1825. I'm sure you all know this. Now, which municipality had the best tribute to their ancestors? It was Douro. In my humble opinion, it was Douro. Now, why would that be? It's because we, more than anybody, appreciate what these people went through. They left Ireland, came by ship. Some of them died. Sorry. They came here to make a better life for themselves and their descendants. Now, who are their descendants? That's us. So we better recognize that we have a severe responsibility to our descendants. And that's why I'm here. We have 6 points. We narrowed it down to 6 points. Everybody knows there's way more than 6 points, but let's throw 6 points at you, and I'm going to outline the point. I've asked, April is a little more articulate than me. She's going to say what motion we're asking for. Number 1, in the budget, it shows the 2024, maybe 2025, and then the projected 2026 budget numbers. But where are the actual numbers? That's what we're missing. I spent the week phoning people on the staff asking, well, what's this number and this number? And then I realized this is nonsense. These numbers should be on the budget so that actually everybody should be interested, because this affects our future. April, will you outline our first request?
So we are asking
If I could
that,
just pause you there, just in the spirit of transparency, Mr. Leahy, when you registered as a delegate, you only registered yourself as a presenter. So from a procedural standpoint, we'd be stepping out of the realm of what's permitted under our procedural bylaw by allowing a second speaker at the lectern. So if you can articulate your points to the best of your ability in the time that's available, I would encourage you to do that.
I'm here not in a gotcha moment.
I understand.
To advance our township.
I recognize that, but as the chair, it's my responsibility to ensure that our agendas reflect what's actually happening in the room for people who aren't here, or for people who plan to be here based on what's on the agenda.
I talked to April after the last meeting because I realized this is power. I asked her to help me. You know, I didn't put her on the agenda. If you're in agreement with this, April won't speak. But I'm telling you, you're making a mistake. So is that what everybody wants?
We can allow the concession, but our procedural bylaw states that that's what's
I
required.
appreciate that. That's all going on, and the last speaker, I get your side of it too, but April was not the end. April, go ahead.
Councillor Johnston, please.
Through the chair, I'm going to make a motion that we go outside their bylaw and that we hear the speaker. Okay.
No motion is required. I just allowed it. I allowed it as the chair, but with warning and understanding that it's outside of our regulations. Go for a minute. Could we get your microphone on, please?
The first point, we're asking council to please direct staff to incorporate a complete table for each department that includes the actuals for 2024 and 2025 versus what was budgeted, realizing that we're going into November, so we're gonna have projected. So in the 2021 budgets and every budget before that, actuals were included on those budgets. It wasn't until this new sitting council that that was removed. I'm not sure how you do a budget without knowing what your actuals are. And I think it would be a great opportunity for council to see what is being spent exactly in the past since 2022 till now, not just what was budgeted for.
Thank you, April. Okay, number 2, administration. I'll start out saying this is not personal. I don't even know our administration anymore, so that's how you know it's not personal. When I look at a $7 million levy, it screams at me that there's too much, we're top heavy. I can name farms or businesses that have 7 million and we're nowhere near this top heaviness. So I know we're going to run out of time. April, will you articulate that?
So we're looking for more information on how much we are spending on administration. In local government with a population of 7,500, it looks like way too much. And unfortunately, the reality of bureaucracy is that extra administration, all it does is breed more red tape for everybody. So we would like a breakdown and for council to present a strategy how this corporation will commit to reducing the administrative burden on our township ratepayers in the 2026 budget and into the future. This is also important to know what federal or provincial grants are we spending on administration? Because we see even, for example, the OCIF grant, we've been getting it every year, great, since 2022, but every year it's going down by an incremental 15%. So last year was 15% more than what we're receiving now. So eventually, if we have wages being paid out of grants, that's not going to be sustainable. We cannot guarantee that one day those grants won't be there to pay those wages. And that administrative burden is very heavy on every single ratepayer in this municipality. So some clear definition on that would be wonderful. Thank you.
Number 3 is consultants. Now, I don't claim to know, you know your job better than me. One thing I saw in the budget is we have to hire a road consultant to tell us which roads to fix. Then I looked into it further and I found out, well, you have to do that to get the grant. When my cows get out, I know they're out because Greg Holland calls me and offers to sell me some cows. Then we get the cows back. What we don't do is hire a consultant to tell us which fences to fix. And we sure don't get lawyers involved. That might be a silly analogy, but I'm hoping we can become a little more pioneer in spirit. April?
So we would like to see a clear and transparent, truthful breakdown of those contracted services, whether it's legal fees, whether it is consultants for the arenas, whether it's an environmental consultant, what that is. Because right now we're seeing it all lumped into one thing, no definition there. So it would be very helpful for clarity when we're looking through the budget as the public to see what are those things and what does that look like?
There's 2 minutes left in the time.
Okay. Reserves. From the budget, I have no clue what reserves we have. I'm concerned about the new building we're putting up and I still don't know the number. And then we have 700,000 reserves and is it 14 or 16 million we're going to spend? Reserves. April?
So we're looking to see a clear breakdown of the Township Reserve Fund for each township department for the years 2022 to 2025. And then that would include the total per year, what was taken from reserves and what was put into the reserves, so that we understand where we stand in terms of every department, whether it's the corporate reserve or any of them, to see where we don't know. We don't know. We would love that information.
Okay, impact. It seems to me that our property values are lower on our assessment than they really are. Now, I don't know why that is. Maybe it's, they haven't updated it. My fear is when it does get updated, we're gonna get nailed. And I know you say we're not, but you told me last meeting that a lot of our fees are dictated like OPP. Come on, we all know they're gonna seize that opportunity to get the raise that they feel they deserve. So, April?
We just want staff to consider outlining the effect that that future impact reassessment is going to have on the, like, what burden is it that is for the ratepayer. And we want to see austerity measures put in place for that potential, because it is and will be an emergency, especially for the poorer members of our community and the elderly. So, and the sixth one is we're hoping that council will consider amending the budget schedule to include a second public meeting or even a roundtable discussion, so that we have this information to go in and to consult with our elected officials. And once we have this clear, we'll be able to have real ideas and things to bring to the table as the ratepayers, as the people paying these taxes as they go up, and a better understanding for everyone why that is.
Okay. One more thing and I'm done.
Mr. Leahy?
I told you that we owe our ancestors. So we need to pay it forward to I'm a grandpa now, so that changes how you think. I know how hard your job is, but we better get control of this, or I think I know what's coming. The province or somebody's gonna say, if you guys can't handle your affairs, we're gonna amalgamate everybody and you'll become a ward. And then Douro will disappear. And that's what we're trying to prevent. Thank you for hosting us.
Thanks for letting me speak.
Thank you. Any questions of our presenters before they run off from council? Nothing? Just a motion to receive then. Councillor Landsman, seconded by Deputy Mayor Nelson. All in favor? And that motion carries. Thank you. Okay, on to public comment period. We have nothing. No, nothing was registered. So now on to staff reports, starting with 10.1 community grant requests. Ms. Grenier is going to be presenting that report. And I believe Councillor Johnston, this is your opportunity to leave the room on that report where you've declared. Thank you.
Through you, Madam Mayor, members of council, this report provides an update on the 2025 Community Grant Program and seeks your direction on a new request from the Warsaw District Lions Club. The amount requested is $1,378.89 to offset their 2025 property taxes. They propose to use these fees to fund their operation costs such as maintenance, upkeep, and park insurance. As you can see, there's only $550 that remains in the 2025 program, so approving the full request would create a shortfall of $828.89. So staff are asking council to provide direction on how to proceed. If council wishes to approve the full amount, staff request identification of the area to fund the $828 shortfall.
Thank you very much. Council, any questions of Ms. Grenier? Then we'll be looking for a motion or some direction on this. Councillor Landsman?
Yes, thank you. Just, are you expecting me to make a motion? But because I had my hand up to comment.
Oh, I missed that. I'm sorry. Absolutely. If you have a comment or a question, go ahead.
Yes, through you to the treasurer. Can you tell how far back we have handled the taxes for them or given them money to the taxes?
I don't have that off the top of my head, but my understanding it is since the beginning of the grant program. Yeah, so it's been a couple of years, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Counselor Watt?
Thank you, through you, Madam Mayor. Our Lions are a big part of this community. What they do, the cruise nights they have, the help they give with different organizations, the kids, the charity cruise night that they, or cruise day, I guess it is now, that they do for someone that's in need. And they're a vital part of our community. So I really would like to see us, as in previous years, previous 2 years, do the grant to offset their taxes. I don't think we waive their taxes. It's a grant that actually pays their portion of the tax of the township. And I guess I would like to see that. I guess I'd have to ask our treasurer what areas do we have to come up with that 800 and change, whatever it is.
That's the direction I was looking for. I mean, I think if there's some expenses we can offset, or if we can find something in a reserve. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. I think we have to review some expenses that maybe we can offset. Or we can look at a reserve if there's funds available in a reserve.
So we don't have any motions and there's no questions. We're just looking for some direction to staff on whether or not to fund this and how so. Counselor Watt?
Thank you, through you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to make a motion that we, I guess we could defer this one more meeting and get staff to come back with options of where we could come up with this money, like whether there is some in reserve that we could tap into, or whether there's been cost cuttings in the last fiscal year here that we could, there's a bit left over from a project that didn't get done. But I definitely want to see it get done.
So we have a motion to defer requesting more information from staff. Counselor Lansman?
Second that.
Any discussion on the motion? Seeing nothing, all in favor? And that motion carries. Thank you. Okay, on to item 10.2, the 2025 Community Tree Program, and that is coming out of the clerk's office. Ms. Baldy, over to you.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Mayor. This report provides an overview of the 2025 tree planting program and asks that council provides direction to staff regarding the community tree planting program in the future. We started planning the program in the 2025 version of the program in early spring. Using the $5,000 allocated from council in the 2025 budget, the clerk's department was able to order 405 trees. The program was then advertised via the township website, social media, and through the tax bill inserts. Community members placed orders from August 18th to August 29th, with the first 5 business days being reserved solely for first-time program users. Orders were taken in person only. People paid $10 per tree, either by cash, debit, or check. By the end of the first 5 business days, there were only 6 trees remaining. The last 6 trees were sold by 9 a.m. on Monday, August 25th. Residents who did not have a chance to purchase trees expressed their frustration, noting that they were looking forward to the opportunity to purchase trees because of the loss experienced in the 2025 ice storm. These people were offered the opportunity to be on a wait list in the chance that any trees were left over after the pickup days. Pickup days spanned 3 days: Thursday, September 11th, Friday, September 12th, and Saturday, September 13th. The supplier provided the township with approximately a dozen extra trees, and ratepayers who had their names added to the wait list were contacted, and the remainder of the trees were picked up by 2 p.m. the Monday after the pickup days. The program has proved popular and has received positive feedback from residents who have accessed the program to help replace the trees that have damaged in recent storms. The cost of the program can be seen as a burden on the tax levy in its current format. Staff have presented 5 options for council to consider, which all have different costs associated with them. Staff are looking at direction from council on the program so that it can be budgeted accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Council, any questions of Ms. Baldy on her report? Seeing nothing, I have one. Oh, we got a question over here. Everybody's pointing at, oh, okay, I'll go first. Great. The wholesale order model, option number 2, what was the approximate, I know there were different sizes and different varieties of trees last year, but what was the approximate cost, like the actual wholesale cost, not the subsidized cost of those trees?
So if we were to order the same size trees as we did in previous years at a wholesale cost, the cost would be between $10 and I think it's between 10 and under 25. So depending on the variety of tree that people were interested in ordering. So I know that the more expensive trees are about $21 to $20, and that would be like the red maple, that sort of thing. And the less expensive trees were around $12.
And can you remind me again what what we were selling those trees for per piece?
Yes, each tree is $10.
Regardless of the
program.
variety?
No matter the variety, it was just a flat rate.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? It was like you guys were pointing at each other. I don't know, are you? Deputy Mayor, you got a question or?
Through you, Madam Mayor, more a comment and maybe a motion. I think the tree program was a great program for after the Dreco to replace a lot of trees within the township. But I also feel with the cost to put that on the taxpayer, I believe we should put it on the property owner themselves if they want to replace trees. And I don't have an issue with maybe at a wholesale, looking at a wholesale, but we can still run a program and look for other people to maybe donate or we look for other revenues to maybe keep the program. But if there's no revenue stream there, I don't believe it's fair for some people to subsidize other people for trees for their properties. If they want trees, I'm fully in agreement with running the program, but at their cost. If they want to buy a tree, purchase a cost, and I'm sure the tree provider would love that to be able to sell trees to us as a township and probably give us a reduction with the amount of trees that we're purchasing. So whenever you're ready for a motion, I'd like to make a motion to that.
Okay, so it sounds like you're leaning towards option number 2, the wholesale order model, where we're coordinating the orders and selling them back to the buyers at the wholesale cost. That's what the wholesale model effectively.
True,
it's-
if there is nobody that's going to, or there is no grants, or there's nothing like that, I don't know whether we need to be in the tree business, really. Sorry, so I should say it's kind of depending on if staff comes back with, I don't know, there's a grant out there for trees or anything like that. Madam Mayor, that's what I'm suggesting. If, other than that, I think we should get out of the tree business.
Okay, so do you want to make your motion then?
Sure.
That,
I'd like to make the motion that if staff can find a program or something that will give us money or support the program, that we would look at it, but otherwise we could eliminate doing any more tree program. I guess that's my comments. or
thank
my
you.
thought,
Your
my
motion?
Motion, sorry.
thank you, Deputy Mayor. So I'm just seeing option number 3 is seeking out a partnership or grant. So Otherwise, we're not going to go forward with it. Okay. Understood. Counselor Johnston, you'll second that motion. Any discussion on the motion? Counselor Watt?
Thank you, through you, Madam Mayor. I guess my question is around grants. Like if we get a grant, we can't turn around and charge money to offset that grant. Like that grant is for us to do something that benefits the township in whatever way. We can't turn around, and I don't think, unless I'm missing something here, we can't turn around and say, okay, we got a grant for $5,000 here, and we're gonna get 400 and some trees, and you gotta pay full price or whatever wholesale price that we get them for like that. And then what do we do with that money? Like, it's grant money. It's not, like, to me, and I'm sorry that I'm kind of contradicting here, but, no, really, I'm not. I would like to see a full cost recovery. Like, we certainly have a lot of, and if we put in the orders ahead of time, like, look for it in the spring or whenever, as early as possible, and know that we need, 500 trees, we have an order for 500 trees, and people are gonna pay the full price for them. All we have is a little bit of administration to hand them out, stuff like that, they deliver them, we get them here. Like, I came down myself and helped this time, so did you. I don't have a problem doing that, but what do we do? And that's, I don't know who's gonna answer that question, but I don't think we can sell trees after we get a grant to buy them. I don't think that's even legal, but I'm not sure. Maybe somebody could update me on that.
CAO Davis?
Through the mayor to Councillor Watt, I couldn't really comment on, like, grants come in all different shapes and sizes. We haven't done a significant amount of research as to what is even available in the granting world to help support the purchase and distribution of trees. It's certainly something that we could take we would take into consideration and look towards making some applications for. When we identified a funding source like a grant, we would come to council and I think we would have a better sense as to what that would allow us to do from that perspective. But you are correct. We don't grant recipients are not allowed to receive grants to make a profit, right? So, but I think, if we have a program and it can be supported and there's a funding opportunity that we could find, then certainly, we would come back to council at that time and tell you what that looked like. But we don't have anything currently sitting in front of us that I could describe this evening.
Ms. Baldy?
Through you, Madam Mayor, on a similar line to what CAO Davis said, the grant in the grant model would be replacing the money that council would normally allocate to the program. And just for an example, the tree order that we placed this year was, I have it written down. It was $8,395. It's considerably higher than the amount allocated to us, but that amount of money is is offset by the amount that people are paying at $10 per tree, and that's how we're able to order so many trees. And so it's not that we're not making money off of the program. We're just using the money, and the purchase price offsets itself. So I don't think that for many grants it would be against the rules of the grant. We're not actually lining our pockets with this grant or with this program. It would just be offsetting the $10 cost of the tree.
Any other discussion on the motion? Councillor Lansman?
Excuse me, thank you. I would like to know exactly what the motion is, because I thought I heard you, Madam Mayor, say it's number 3. And I thought the deputy mayor's motion was a little bit longer than that. So I'd like to know exactly what the motion is, please.
No, and that's fair, Madam Clerk. Can you please read back the motion that you reported?
Through you, Madam Mayor. So moved by Deputy Mayor Nelson, seconded by Councillor Johnson, that the township review grants and other partnership opportunities to pay for the cost of the program. If these cannot be found, the program will be canceled. Is that accurate from the mover and seconder?
Any other discussion?
No, thank you.
No other discussion? Seeing nothing further, I'll speak to the motion. I'd like to see it go forward, but in a wholesale order model where we're providing an opportunity for residents to pay cost for those trees. So we're running the program effectively on a break-even point. The reality is those trees that people are able to purchase for $10 to $25 a tree wholesale, that we're able to obtain, people are going to retail store outlets, none of which are right in our backyard. They're easy for them to get to, that are, $75 to $150 for that exact same tree. We have had a lot of tree damage between the ice storm and the derecho. And, it's nice to be able to see the, on tree pickup weekend, it seems, all of the trees going out into our community, supporting residents in our community. So I don't support the motion as it is, but with that, we'll call for the vote. All in favor? And that motion fails. Counselor Watt.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you. I would like to make a motion that we do option 2, the wholesale model order. We don't need a grant if we're going to get cost recovery on it. We just have a little bit of administration thing for like the pickup and the handing them out, which, like I said, I'm more than happy to volunteer to look after, help with that, whatever. So no cost in that. But if we buy the trees and if we get the orders early enough, we know exactly how many we're going to need. We buy them, the people come, they pay for it, and it's no cost, just a little bit of administration. So I'd be very, very much in favor of doing that at cost recovery.
Okay, does anyone want to second that? Counselor Landsman? Any discussion on the motion? We've got Counselor Johnston and Deputy Mayor.
I just want to make a comment that it never really came across the table here, but there is a fee for them delivering, like $500, I guess. So we got to make sure that that $500 is always included on top of what we're paying for the trees. So I mean, whatever the tree that we're going to do, plus break the 500 into so many trees. I just want to make that brought forward.
Okay, thank you. Deputy Mayor?
Yes, Madam Mayor, just a comment. I don't believe we should be in the tree business at all. We're not in, that's not our mandate. But anyways, that's how I feel. I don't feel we did this due to all the Dreco and all the trouble that we had with the trees. And we put that program on. I think it was a good program. I think it's run its course. I think we need to be out of the tree business and let people look after their own trees. That's my opinion. It takes staff time. It does cost us money. It does take staff time. And I'm sure staff could be looking after other things better than looking after trees. That's just my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Any other comments on the motion? We'll call for the vote. All in favor? And that motion carries. Thank you. On to item 10.3, request to stop up, close, and sell part of the 12th line road allowance. And this is a report coming from the clerk's office. Madam Clerk, over to you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The report that's before you is quite a short one. We have received a request from Daryl Drain on behalf of Drain Brothers, requesting that council stop up and close a section of the 12th line road allowance. This is a section that runs from Highway 7 north, just south of a driveway. It is not the full length of the allowance. To allow staff to investigate this opportunity, we do need council's direction to do so. So the report's before you. What we're seeking today is direction from council on how you wish us to proceed. This is not an approval of the request or a leaning as to what the final decision will be. It's just to allow staff to move forward with step 1 of the policy, which is gathering more information and completing a circulation of neighboring property owners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Council, any questions on the report before you? No questions? Just looking for a motion. Deputy Mayor Nelson?
Through you, Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we advise staff or have staff look into stopping up and closing this section of road allowance. I'm very familiar with what it actually is, and it runs through a swamp that the 12th line can't actually come out to number 7. And I believe it's of no value and no use to the township the way it stands. And to ever put that road through there, well, that's a that would be a nightmare with Orca. So that's my thoughts, is to have staff go ahead and take a look at it and come back with more report.
Okay, does anyone want to second that? Counselor Johnston, do we have a motion on the floor that's been duly seconded? Any discussion on the motion? Counselor Watt?
Yes, just curious, because when we go about these, usually landowners are contacted within X number of distance, whatever. Drains own that property already. Is that a step that we can, or do we still have to get a hold of Mr. Drain and say, well, this is what we want for your property? Because it's like, seems like a waste of time.
Through you, Madam Mayor. The policy is clear that owners within 1,000 feet of the road allowance must be contacted. So that's not just owners that are directly touching the allowance, but those in the greater vicinity. And there is one property not owned by Mr. Drain or his business that does touch this allowance.
Any other discussion on the motion? Seeing nothing further, all in favor? And that motion carries. Thank you. On to item 10.4, Demers Road Report. CAO Davis, over to you.
Through the mayor and members of council, I'm bringing forward the report on Demers Road as requested through 3 separate resolutions, this year. I would note that this report cleans up or clears up 3 resolutions that deferred this matter to staff to deal with in 2025. Resolution number 049-2025, at which point we were asked to defer a request. A deferral request was conceded by council to allow staff to discuss road standards with the applicants also related to their application for severance. Resolution 111-2025, where the decision was deferred to allow us to collect additional information, including a record of previous maintenance. And then finally, Resolution 147-2025, that was a further delegation related to Demers Road and the removal of dead trees. This report, I think, really relatively stands for itself. We've had a number of requests on behalf of Mr. Edwards by his solicitor, Richard Taylor, to consider adopting this or excuse me for just one moment, to assume this road into the township road system. We have met with the delegates. I appreciate that they're unsatisfied with the outcome of that meeting and the outcome of this report. I've also, we included in the 2025 road tour, council had the opportunity to tour Demers Road, as I understand, on that day. And our recommendation, my recommendation, I think, is pretty firm. The cost, while I haven't given you an overall cost of what the cost of assumption and or ongoing service would be, I am very sensitive to the increasing costs for service for this township and our responsibility to try and keep those under control. I would note that there are a number of private roads in Douro-Dummer Township. This is, as we view it, one of those roads. And so I put this for you. Happy to take any questions you may have on this matter this evening.
Thank you, CAO Davis. Questions? No question?
I got one
Counselor
question.
Johnston.
Question and comment, like, as I listen to all these things, and we've had Mr. Edwards here before, and like, they got valid concerns. I appreciate that. We've always stood behind unopened roads that we do not maintain. But I don't know, maybe with the time of the day, with more severances needed in our township, we need growth, then maybe we need to take another look at it. I'm not prepared to make those decisions tonight. But I do think maybe we should be, looking a little deeper into what we might want. There is a big cost to, and people in the past have paid big dollars to upgrade the roads to the township standards. But I do think that maybe it's something that we can look at to try to open up some of these roads. Like it's I know a lot of times you can't get a seventh if it don't abide right onto an open road. But maybe it's time to look at some of the stuff. So I just say, I hear it all. I'm just not prepared to make a decision tonight, one way or the other. Like, I don't think I want to be cold, cut and dry. No, it's not open, so we can't have no growth. I'm not prepared to do that. But I do think that we need to look into this situation. And like I say, once we open the door here, we'll have a lot of other places that are going to be wanting to do the same thing. And is that so wrong? I don't know. We do have to maintain it. Once we open it up, then you're into all kinds of things, whether it be buses or whether it be recycling and all them, and some of them go there now. But I think we have to look at the big picture and maybe review what we have on paper now. That's my comment.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Nelson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I got to look at, this policy has been in place a long time. In fact, the road I live on, I had to pay for it, bring it up to standard, up to township standard, and bring that up to standard, and paid for it. Everybody along that road that went there afterwards had to pay a fee to bring that road up to municipal standard. I look at all kinds of roads that have under that same category, and then people had to pay that. How do we as a council turn around and say, oh, and not picking on anybody, but, and I understand the whole, I understand it. I understand your point of view, and I understand, but it comes down to, we don't have them kind of funds to open up road, and we have all kinds of unopened road allowances. And there's all kinds of property owners that are on them road allowances, and in some cases, people have paid a lot of money to have that opened up, and so that then the township maintains it. And the cost to maintain roads is not cheap anymore, and the cost to build roads is not cheap anymore. So I can't see why the rest of the taxpayers are on the hook to open up one road for one person. And so the way it stands, you got the same ability as anybody else. If you want to open up a road allowance, you can pay like everybody else and have that road allowance open. And then we incorporate it in by bylaw that we maintain that road. So that's my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Any other questions, comments from council on this? Councillor Mansman, is that a hand up or? Okay, while you work on that, how about I work on a question? And I'm going to direct this at CAO Davis because our planner isn't here today, but having the opportunity to sit on the county's land division committee, I've seen applications come forward wherein other municipalities, the policy permits development on private or unopened road allowances, and they stay as that road allowance. And what policy are we using here in this particular case as it relates to preventing the severance of those lots? Like, I understand the policies there, but is that our official plan that we're talking about?
Through the mayor, back to the mayor. I don't have I would imagine that, I believe that's where it comes from, is the official plan policy. If I recall, I just can't remember off the top of my head. I would defer perhaps to the clerk. She may have a better understanding as to where that policy exists.
Madam Clerk, let you know. Sorry, too many microphones.
And I apologize for sending it. Okay.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. If you could give me one moment, I can look that up and then respond.
Okay, great. So while we wait for that, Councillor Landsman, have you figured out your question yet?
Thank you. Through you to the deputy mayor. In the comments you were making, you discussed that this property could be paid for and that it could be updated and then become a public or, yeah, a township road. Is that correct? Were you referring to just the one property owner or all property owners being involved in it?
If I might, through the mayor, most times it's the applicant that wants to upgrade the road. And in this case, it's Mr. Edwards that wants to upgrade that road and also take lots off. Once that's upgraded, I don't know. It could be possibly a fee for anybody else along the road. Now, I know some of them properties along this road is different because they had frontage on Campline. They don't have frontage on Demers Road. So I don't know, that could be a decision of council again. But the way it is now, that's unfair when we have other people in this township that don't have a municipally maintained road. They've made a deal like Mr. Edwards did to go in there, live there, and sign an agreement with the township. So I don't see how that's fair that we allow Mr. Edwards to do that and we don't allow anybody else to do it. If you understand what I'm saying. I had to pay to have my piece of road opened up, and I went through that process. So that's my comment.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Sheila, Madam Clerk, you said you might have found the information I was looking for.
Yes, through you, Madam Mayor, I went back to the planning report that was presented to council on February 18th of this year, which spoke to this regulation. So in that report, it speaks to the official plan, which states that notwithstanding this policy, the local plan may include policies permitting new development not accessible by a public road maintained year-round in some or all of the following situations. In a plan of condominium where internal roads to the in a plan of condominium with internal roads to the standard acceptable to the municipality. On private roads, subject to the criteria of the local plan, provided those criteria are consistent with the conversion to a private residential establishment in the local plan. Sorry, this section is so lengthy and just mentions lots of words, but in accordance with section 5.1.3 or with other plans in section 5.1.3, if there is no conversion criteria in the official plan, on lots accessible only by water or by seasonally maintained public roads subject to the criteria in the local plan. So further down in the report, it speaks to an analysis of the section of the official plan. The proposed severances do not meet any of the above noted situations. Section 5.1.3.3 noted above and attached pertains to shoreline residences, which is dwellings located on waterfront or waterways, and the ability to convert existing seasonal dwellings to permanent residential use. The subject property is designated rural in the official plan. Section 7.12.1 of the official plan states that consents the creation of a new lot shall only be granted where the proposed lot fronts upon an improved public street or road which is maintained year-round and which is of reasonable standard of construction. Section 7.12.2 of the official plan states that notwithstanding the above, a consent or severance for a seasonal cottage lot may be granted if it fronts onto a public road or access is possible either by water or private right-of-way. However, in Douro-Dummer, permanent single detached dwellings may also be permitted on private roads and deeded right-of-ways subject to the provision of the Township zoning bylaw. Section 3.12 of the Township zoning bylaw prohibits the erection of any building or structure on a lot unless it abuts a public road. That's section 3.12.1. There's an exception to that, which are lots located in the limited service residential zone, island zone, commercial tourist zone, or where the lot abuts a navigable waterway. And the report continues on with other matters.
Thank you very much. And that was the February 18th report on this particular file. Thank you.
Just
COD?
for reference, that's included as attachment 1 of my report.
Thank you. I didn't see that in the file attachments in their fullness. Okay. All right. Thank you for that clarification. Council, what would you like to do with this report that's before you? We don't have a motion yet.
Well, through the chair, I'm going to make a motion to defer this. I want to look into this more closely, even though we have all our T's and cross and everything done ahead of time, but I think it's time that maybe we need to look at some changes, like maybe even to follow in with other municipalities. So I'm
Okay.
making a motion to defer this.
Okay, a motion to defer, seconded by Councillor Landsman. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing nothing, all in favor? And that motion carries. Okay, moving on to item 11, ad hoc recreation facility committee minutes on point 1, just a resolution to receive and approve. Councillor Watt, seconded by Councillor Johnston, all in favor? That motion doesn't carries? Can we have hands on, we're just receiving and approving item 11.1, the arenas. And that was moved by Councillor Johnson, moved by Councillor Watt, second by Councillor Johnston. All in favor? That motion carries. Thank you. And then under correspondence, we have item 12.1, Municipality of Blue Water, resolution regarding climate change as a foremost national priority. Council, what would you like to do with this? Motion to receive is from Councillor Watt. You want to second that? Councillor Landsman, any discussion? All in favor? That motion carries. We have 12.2, the Town of Plimpton, Wyoming, resolution regarding the freeze of Conservation Authority fees. Council?
Make a motion to receive and support.
A motion to receive and support. Seconded by Councillor Landsman. Any discussion? All in favor? Councillor Landsman, did you? Okay, that motion carries. 12.3, the Municipality of St. Charles, resolution regarding aerial spraying of, I can never say this, glyphosate. Did I say that correctly? What would you like to do, Councillor Landsman?
I'd make a motion to receive and support that.
Receive and support. Does anyone want to second that? Councillor Johnston, any discussion? All in favor? That motion carries. 12.4, Municipality of St. Charles, regarding the closure of before and after school programs. Is that happening everywhere? Councillor Johnston. Your mic's still on. Receive and support from Councillor Johnston. Who wants to second that? Councillor Watt. Any discussion? All in favor? That motion carries. 12.5, the Town of Bradford, West Gwillimbury, a resolution regarding the removal of HST, GST from new homes to support housing affordability. Councillor Johnston.
I'm going to make a motion to receive and support.
Receive and support from Councillor Johnston. Does anyone want to second that? Councillor Landsman will second that. Any discussion? All in favor? That motion carries. 12.6, Township of Stone Mills, regarding emerald ash borer infestation. Councillor Councillor Landsman? You had your hand up?
I'll make a motion to receive it.
Okay. Does anyone want to second that? I think Deputy Mayor, you were going to second that. Any discussion? All in favor? That motion carries. 12.7, Halton Region, regarding public safety requirements. What would you like to do with this? Councillor Johnston. Receive and support. Does anyone want to second that motion? Seconded by Counselor Landsman. Any discussion? All in favor? And that motion carries. Thank you. Where are we? 12.8, Municipality of Wawa resolution on the bottle return system in Ontario. What would you like to do with that? Deputy Mayor? Received support. Counselor Watt's going to second that. Any discussion? All in favor? That motion carries. Okay, that was a lot. Moving on to item number 13. There's no bylaws. There's no reports derived from previous notices of motion. Are there any notices of motion? No notices of motion. And then on to announcements. Any announcements? Councilor Watt?
Thank you, through you, Madam Mayor. Just to remind everyone, a week from today is our Remembrance Day program. It will start at 10 to 11 down at the Cenotaph, just at the corners here by Quirks and where the butter tart factory used to be. And we welcome everyone that could possibly come. We have kids from the schools coming to read poems, and keep our fingers crossed, it'll be nice weather.
Thank you for that, Councilor Watt. Any other announcements? Councilor Johnston?
Well, it is working. I just want to remind everybody about the Santa Claus Parade. And we're still looking for floats. If anybody out there knows anybody that would like to put a float in, we had a very successful one last year. We'd like to have the same this year. And if anybody wants to dress up as a clown, that's their business. But we'd like to get the word out there about it on the 29th at 5 o'clock. And if you can put a get someone that I know that we've got quite a few right now, but the more floats makes it a nice night. Thank you.
Councilor Landsman with an announcement.
Thank you. Just to add to Councillor Johnson's comments, if there is anybody that knows children that want to be elves, they're welcome to come out and be in touch with the township, and we can get them there as elves. 12 years and under needs an adult to be with them.
Thank you for that. Any other announcements? Seeing nothing further, we have no closed session. Just the confirming by law, please. Thank you, Councilor Watt, seconded by Councilor Johnston. I saw your hand up. All in favor on the confirming, that carries. Our next council meeting is scheduled for November the 18th. And lastly, a motion to adjourn. Deputy Mayor Nelson, seconded by Councilor Landsman. All in favor. And that motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.